say about the Bangladesh issue, because we saw and it is evident that how the deep state of United States was involved to regime change during the Biden administration. Then Muhammad Yunus made Junior Soros also. So what is your point of view about the Bangladesh?
And what is the role that the deep state played in the situation in Bangladesh?
Well, there was no role for our deep state. You think something's off about the whole thing, do you? You think Jeffrey ran a child sex ring to blackmail and control powerful men, which would explain how he was so rich and well-connected despite not having a career? You think he was killed in prison to protect those powerful men back during my first term? You think it's strange that there's no security footage of his cell the night he died and that it took 6 years to determine that? Oh, it's odd that we claimed to have a ton of evidence and then we said we had nothing and now we're saying there is something, but it's a hoax orchestrated by the Democrats who waited until after the election for me to bring it up, which I did, which would make me a liar, a pedophile, and above all, a fucking idiot. Well, I'm not an idiot, okay? It's a hoax.
Mr. Glass over here.
Oh, God. You gotta think, like, one, knowledge is definitely a burden, and higher processing ability leads to increased anxiety often. So I think he's just double fucked. I don't think there's really a trade-off there. Like, I get that, yeah, he's the super villain, but on that same token, that's also a very tormenting experience. Though.
Oh,
that'd be
absolutely.
awful. Like,
That's
so
part of it.
you're just getting fucked up by everything all the time, and then internally you're fucking yourself up all the time, and just no wonder you turned out a little angry.
Double whammy.
Yeah, I mean, no wonder he was a little irritated. But then on that other token, no wonder Bruce Willis was his villain in his eyes, because, I mean, this fucking walking thumb, this retard that can't fucking hurt himself, how unfair, blissfully unaware of all of life's troubles, just going through it. I would be pissed too, man.
Villains.
Yeah, oftentimes I know the perspective nowadays is that it's cool, like we've already discussed in DudeBros Rerun. We've already discussed, and we probably will discuss a million times more, I'm sure, how they give the bad guys the character that makes you kind of empathize with them, but it's all structured. I prefer the more classic movies, but actually truly analyzing the villain and giving the villain that story that the movie did not.
Right.
Reading between the lines with what they was not marketable
Kind of the
at the
Heath
time.
Ledger kind of deal.
Yeah,
That Joker. Right. I'm looking at 100%. Sure.
I like applying that. I think the peak time to do that and really have fun with it is like 80s action movies. If you do that and then really force yourself to try to fully empathize for the quote unquote bad guy each time, about half the time you'll end up hating the main character and being like, "What? Yes, fuck this guy,"
I get it. Yeah. But see, you're right. They try to humanize the villain so much anymore. It's just kind of no.
It's way too forced, and everything also is, as you usually bring up, and I said before, it's always forced but to push an agenda,
Makes it worse. Yeah.
And it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the approach. There seems to be a lot of that. We didn't discuss this on here, but I was thinking we had the Miss Rachel stuff. So you're familiar with Miss Rachel. You have the children. I'm sure you're somewhat aware. You've seen. We saw a few of those, and I was like, oh, this seems to be relatively positive. And then we saw ones that were more recent, not her original, first little bit that she did for her, developmentally challenged child to help them out specifically. The ones that she did after she realized she could make money from it, right?
Right.
And then you see all these side characters come in there for, every box that needs to be checked, as it were.
Kind of spread that audience out.
Yeah, so that kind of, I know, has turned off a lot of, I don't want to say fans, but I guess fans is the word for it. A lot of parents that have their children watch it. I've seen that in a lot of communities, message boards, all across the spectrum, There was...
No pun intended.
Yeah, jeez. Never mind, we won't even go that route. But anyway. Right, so all across the board, everybody I'm not saying everybody's against it because there's lots of people who still love it, or it's a pleasant distraction for their child, or however they view it. You know, not saying that's the right way to view it at all. First of all, but anyway, one funny thing was I hope I can still pull it up. It was an Islamic community that was so on the board. They were getting. We'll just say they had some very funny comments. Damn it, boy. They had some very funny comments related to all of that. So anyway, there were I saw a few little snippets on X, and then I saw some small little YouTube short clips go on YouTube. I didn't, engage with anything when it first popped up, but I saw quite a few starting to aggregate, and it seemed that she was being accused of saying some anti-Semitic stuff.
Ooh, can't do that now.
After a few of those were on there, I was like, well, this is not a fake video, or it's a fake video that's gotten viral enough where it's relevant. I will at least see what this is about.
Right.
So I watch it, and it's, I don't even remember how she does into it, but she's like, just like the innocent children in Gaza, and then goes into all that.
You can't humanize Gaza. That's anti-Semitic.
Right.
Oh.
So, and then I think she said, I don't know if she said free Palestine, like the phrase, or if she said there deserves to be a free Palestine. I can't remember exactly.
The words were there enough to go,
right.
Ping.
But that was what flagged it and what got them all upset. And there was obviously a backlash, especially these days. Further, let's fast forward about 2-3 days after I've heard the initial story. Some whispers that she had received funding from an organization you might have heard about called Hamas.
Oh.
And so this was something that was either, blatantly laughable, or I don't know. I will we'll look further into that and get absolute confirmation before we say anything one way or another. But either way, that is a hilarious story if false, and a hilarious and terrifying if true story.
Right. Just, boy.
If false, it's funny whoever started that and whoever got that on there. I'm sure that's some local.
Good chance it's false, but
right.
What if it ain't?
Wild. I mean, it's certainly not unheard of. It's not a.
Well, there's been some paper mentions on all kinds of stuff.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Yep.
We still have I believe he's still actively attending Congress. A man who was supposed to be, a public servant, who was dating a Chinese spy, a known Chinese spy. You remember Fing Fing, Wing Wing?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Fing
yeah.
Fing. Fang Fang.
Like confirmed
Fing
Chinese spy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember.
And how is that just a thing? Like, I'm not trying to go all like Joseph McCarthy or anything, but from my perspective, if you have a spy, I understand maybe if you don't want to disclose that immediately, you're following that further up the chain, you're trying to get further information.
See where this goes, sure.
But when it becomes public to your nation that this person is actively committing espionage against their country, it is very much signaling that you were weak. It's it's very much undermining the whole context. There's a lot of that stuff out there.
It just seems a big stuff like that seems to be popping up here and there on the lower webs, we'll say. On CNN and the Fox and all the flashy look here's. But if you scroll down a page or two on a Google search on breaking news, it's weird what you actually read about.
I like to follow a lot of smaller accounts in foreign countries, like across the globe, that I don't want to say they're like bloggers. They're just more like local news reporters kind of a thing. People that have a little bit of a following and are just doing their version of the news there.
I couldn't take it anymore. Couldn't take it anymore. He deserved it.
people that are, local news reporters and have their local following and all that. And you tap into it and you get some good stuff there. And then you hear about a story that you might hear about 2 months later on our local news when it's convenient politically for there to be a little soundbite to
A much smaller version. Sure.
On that note, have you seen the latest Christian community that's been destroyed in Israel?
No, not a peep.
Yeah, in the West Bank, they there's just the settler movement, the Zionist settlers that are going, claiming or reclaiming, however you want to phrase that or look at it, but going and taking land that other people were just living on, and that it's not just been Palestinians. They've been doing that to the Christian communities, and they just murdered like 100 and something Christians and burned all that stuff down. And this is a thing that is happening pretty frequently.
Sounds like that's not a very good thing to do. That sounds more like of a...
Yeah, and so you might have seen on the news, they've been every few days showing something like this morning they were showing an American who was killed over there, an American who has, Israeli ties and was killed over there, and how bad it is, and we would stop this and everything. And that's as much as they go into it.
Right.
But if you look into it, he actually was there and he was protesting the Zionist people who were coming and taking the Christian and Arab lands, and he was there as a Jew trying to be like, hey, Jews, this is not what we're meant to do. And then the Israelis shot him and killed him.
But
so that's not anywhere on our news at all whatsoever. It just says that he's killed over there, And it's like, I think that's that's one of those important facts, that call me old fashioned, but
that sounds like the kind of stuff they're accusing Russia of doing, but they don't actually have any proof of Russia doing that.
That's a funny one to touch on there. I will say, certainly the American press, the American internet, anything you access on there is heavily, heavily censored. I mean,
sure. Well, that was something you said you followed a lot of people in a lot of places. I'm always curious as to what kind of news they're getting about us over there. Like,
oh, absolutely. I love seeing, I guess you'd consider it local propaganda. I mean, there might be more truth to some things than others, and there might be stuff that's blatantly false, and it's all just, it's
like, what's Iran got about America right now on TV?
Well, I've never been in the country of Iran or watched the local news there. Shot the shit with people there.
But it makes you think,
It does make you think.
Is it just like a big picture of Donald Trump cartoon and him just going around killing babies?
No. I don't want to pull away from our. Well, I guess it's still in the same vein. Have you kept up with anything to do with Syria? Syria the last few decades been a shit show. Russia, America having a proxy war back in there. So now the current leader of Syria is a former head of Al Qaeda.
Right. He was just at the White House.
Yeah, we're friends with him. We're bros. Yeah. Much love, playa, So on their streets, yes. And we'll put a nice image up for everybody. There's image of their El Presidente and our El Presidente, and it's phrase something like men of power, like that. But you also have the president of Syria now back in Israel.
Oh,
and it's just lots of things that seem very, how in the hell is this getting pulled off, So there will be another civil war in Syria in the next year or two, regardless.
Yeah, Syria doesn't really like Israel very much, right?
No.
I didn't think so. I didn't think
plain and simple, yeah. But weird. It's just interesting. I don't understand how we have these people who were literally, on the terrorist watch list. I think he was number 2. And now, like you said, visiting the White House, making deals, forming little buddy lines with Israel.
I mean, how hard do you want to pull on that? It almost looks like there's been a little... Here's the carpet, and there it goes.
Well, That opium trade's got to keep going, I guess.
Oh, that just tricked me out. I can't.
Well, no, they're saying the majority of opium is now going through Syria, which is just another coincidence that is one of those funny things, you know, just.
You know, I saw a little clip of a poppy farmer being interviewed, and
This is for Afghanistan, or I'm assuming?
Afghanistan, right. You know, way back when, the before time, you know, or just now recently, however you want.
all the time.
Yeah, and he talked about, you know, who he was doing that for and who was protecting him and
Who's paying it?
who's paying for everything
Paying
and
way more than he makes.
where it's all
anywhere else.
going, and there's nothing else I can do to make this much money. Yeah, it's just weird. I bet they pay for a lot of stuff with that money.
Well, I mean, if you want to, I mean, we could spend hours going into this. But certain organizations like, say, USAID, that one was pretty topical in the last few months, you know. A lot of money goes through that, and then it goes to these local grants to local programs that are for these very obscure things. I'm sure you've seen all kinds of ridiculous stuff, you know.
Condoms in Mozambique,
Yeah,
right?
800,000 for transgender studies in some obscure
Zimbabwe.
religion.
Yeah.
Or, you know, all kinds of crazy stuff.
Right.
Well, that money is clearly not going to these things. It's just a way that we affect certain things we need to affect. A way of putting financial resources in
Places.
that's not the only organization at all. That's just one that is topical enough where anybody listening can be like, oh yeah, I've heard of that. There's
Insert letters
tip of the
here.
iceberg, you know?
Yeah.
So we're doing that all around the world to exert soft power in all these places, and we're not the only ones. China, of course, is doing that. Russia is flexing their muscle a little bit. France has been a little naughty boy too. India and Pakistan, those are trying to become more sovereign nations, we'll say, more determining their own fate in the world. Same with Brazil, same with South Africa, same with Australia, although Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the United States at the end of the day are owned by the United Kingdom. That is what it is.
Bank of London, right?
Yeah, until we have the old civil war in the United States and split it apart, which is what the Daigle report predicted, what all these professors have been predicting and all that.
But we put it together. Aren't we supposed to be?
Every election cycle, they say that. I remember with the first Trump election, and then when he was running for re-election, they're like, oh, this will be a civil war if he wins again. You know, California will secede, Texas will secede.
Well, to be fair, they do. I remember blatantly, like, especially when the whole Portland thing was going on and they were burning everything down and all that jazz. Like, half of the state was like, we want to be part of this state now. We no longer want to be part of this state.
What was it the...
They were going to be the Greater Idahoan area or something like that.
Greater Idaho?
Something like that, yeah.
The Greater Idaho area.
They're like, we're tired of this shit. Like, just cut it off right there, draw a line, push them into the water. We don't give a shit. We're done. Like, these idiots do not speak for us. And it was a fair amount of people, but...
Hey, they might get their wish. It might be one of those be careful what you wish for. So did you see lately, right by Mount Rainier, there's been another swarm of earthquakes that's started triggering off, and it's the most intense they've had since we've recorded earthquakes and monitored all that stuff. That's coupled with the earthquake swarm that's still going in Japan, still slowly just building up. There was a big one in Indonesia yesterday.
A lot of those kind of deals lately.
Well, we're getting a lot of energy from the sun.
And we're in a pole shift, so that's not helping stuffs.
And then also, this is getting probably too deep. I don't even know if we'll leave this in, but we'll touch on it nevertheless. So space isn't just empty space. It's all different densities of different type materials, different organizations, different arrangements of molecular compounds and whatnot. And we're in the process of moving from one cloud to another. So it's a slightly different medium is what our whole galactic plane, our whole solar system is starting to slide into. Now we also have something called the galactic current sheet that basically ripples back and forth because it's giant waves that go through there. And we're about to be hit with that. And the last time that came through was about 12,000 years ago.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah,
that's
so
not good.
there's all kinds of.
I remember a thing that happened like 12,000 years ago. It's real bad. Real bad.
Yeah. And there's all kinds of interesting things.
Well,
But never mind. We'll leave that at that. Like I said, we probably won't even go into that.
headed out Canada.
So you know the Wagner group, of course.
No. That guy died. That's not a group anymore.
Okay. I get some updates from one of them, and it's obviously a propaganda account. You know, he's
Oh, yeah.
trying to continue
Big
to
Russia.
put people in there, just telling it like it is, and you know, showing accurate pictures. This is the battlefield. This is the map. This is the town we just liberated. This is us coming in here. This is all of them being happy. You know. This is us coming in here with no weapons. We're not intimidating them. This is them welcoming us into their house, pulling out the stuff that they hid from the
Pure
Ukrainians.
propaganda. Pure propaganda.
It very much looks like what you saw from like our World War II movies when the Allies come into France and whatnot. Yeah, exactly.
Save us, please.
Yeah, here's all of our village women.
Yeah.
Do what you want with
Yes,
them.
yes.
You know?
All the food and wine you want. You want to sleep in my bed, yes?
That movie Fury kind of went into that. That was rough, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it played out quite like that, but you know, got to get your movie lookity box thing going. Got to get those numbers up.
Yeah. I will say, we've been to see a couple movies in theater, and there have been a few trailers that I thought this might be a movie that I'll enjoy, but then again, there's movies that I know I will never want to watch ever. And there was that I'm sure you just probably the Alice in Wonderland or whatever the.
Oh no, it was Wicked 2.
Wicked.
See, we don't even have to go because that trailer was just so
Yeah, it
good.
showed the whole movie, which seems to be the trend. Like, you remember when trailers used to be like
face.
It'd be 15 seconds of like movie footage, and then there'd be like a logo for like 10 seconds.
Little voice over with no face, just the logo.
In a war.
Yeah. Like, what's that about? Let me look up that. Oh man, I gotta see that. Oh, how's that on?
I think we should really bring back the voiceovers, man. That was like peak 90s, peak millennium kind of culture.
That's like
you know?
a dying breed, man. I mean, we've got a friend that would be perfect for that kind of stuff, and he has completely missed his calling. I'll stand on that, on my soapbox. I'll die on that hill. If he would have been a sports broadcaster, he could freaking commentate pickleball and people would listen to it.
Oh yeah. There's a friend of mine from way back when, and he's just doing his thing, traveling the world now, and he's got like a little social media thing, and his gimmick is him eating food, but not like him giving food reviews or something like that. It's that like SMR bullshit. So it's like a camera right in front of his mouth. It's disgusting. But he's living his best life, so power to him doing that. Right now he's over in either China or Japan. I can't remember if he's flown back yet or not, but he's just doing his thing, and he learns a little bit of local languages, but he's very much a single world traveling bro, so the phrases that he chooses are hilarious.
Yeah.
And so he'll send me a Snapchat as he's like going out for the night, as he's trying to repeat the few phrases that he's trying to remember and whatnot. And it's sorry about that. Coffee's important. So good. So good. Barbie has officially come out with their first type 1 diabetes Barbie, complete with A1C monitor.
Oh no.
Yeah, I heard that, and it made me.
Having diabetes is cool.
I was just like, oh no.
Make sure you get that sugar drink.
But it's not, unfounded. They've had a trend of doing that before. I mean, I remember when they had the Down syndrome Barbie that came out, and then there's wheelchair Ken, It's not just the Jurassic movies that are trying to.
Oh, D-Rex.
Cultural appropriation of mentally handicapped individuals. I mean, the circus act society's been pulling where we cherry pick disability for clout, sympathy, or a quick TikTok trend while leaving actual disabled people in the dust. We live in a world where people are out here cosplaying as neurodivergent like it's a Coachella outfit. They'll slap autism awareness on their bio, misspell sensory overload in a viral post, and act like they've cracked the code to the human condition. Meanwhile, actual mentally handicapped folks are fighting tooth and nail for basic accommodation. Ramps that don't exist, healthcare that's a labyrinth of red tape. Look at the governor of Texas, Governor Abbott. He's in a wheelchair, and he's still advocating against stuff like ramps, or just a shred of dignity in a world that treats them like props. It's like watching someone borrow your trauma for a Halloween costume and then get mad when you don't clap for their performance. You've got influencers out here self-diagnosing ADHD because they forgot their keys once, while real people with cognitive disabilities are stuck in underfunded group homes or job programs that pay them in pocket rent. Oh, you're quirky because you like organizing your M&Ms by color? Tell that to the guy who's been institutionalized since he was 12 because society decided he's too complex to deserve a real shot. It's not just appropriation, it's theft. Theft of narrative, theft of resources, theft of the spotlight from people who don't get to opt out of their struggles for likes. And don't get me started on the media. Every other Oscar bait movie is some able-bodied actor doing disability drag, drooling for a statue, while actual disabled actors are lucky to get a background role as guy in wheelchair. Hollywood's out here mining handicap for emotional porn, but when it comes to hiring or representing the real deal, crickets. It's like they're saying, we love your story, but we don't trust you to tell it. Then there's the corporate grift. Companies slapping rainbow wheelchairs on their ads during Disability Pride Month, but their offices aren't even ADA compliant. They'll sell you a $50 neurodiversity t-shirt made in a sweatshop, but good luck getting them to fund actual mental health services. It's all performative. A big old pat on the head while they pocket the profits and call it allyship. The kicker? When you call this out, you're the bad guy. You're gatekeeping or invalidating someone's truth. Nah, I'm just sick of watching people treat disability like a trendy filter they can slap on and off while the real ones are stuck living it.
So the D is for, what was it? Disassembled Rex, Downs Rex.
Downs Rex is what I think we settled on, yeah.
Oh, so stuff that you might have missed with that. That is possibly the oldest dinosaur.
Oh, right, because it's been there for, 17 years or whatever?
And it was one of the mistakes where they were trying to fill in the gap DNA, and that's why
Oh,
you had
that's
the things come out there and the big water head and all of that, and he didn't seem too intelligent.
You got to think, we've had the dinosaur who's turning himself invisible and tricking people to open the cage and all that, and then we get this one who basically has a helicopter flying to his mouth, you know. And
No, the thing that got me was at the end when he's like standing outside and the people are just like standing there and he's not looking at them at all. It's just this dude. So they're like, all right, I guess we're just going to go this way. And then he gets the truck, comes in. Oh, that was good. My favorite part with that guy.
I mean, I guess I understand. I mean, there's those outliers of children that are just really got unlucky and have something genetically that they just, like I said, very unlucky with. And I could see maybe the Barbie doll, like me, is supportive and helps them in some way, but obviously they're hopping on the trend that there's such a large portion of children that
Have something.
yeah. I don't see them making a Barbie for every obscure cancer and disease out there. You know what I'm saying? This is a large enough market now where they can justify doing that, and that's terrifying on its own.
Talking about Barbie, though, I mean, did you see about Elmo today?
I did not get into any of it. So give me the scoop on
We
that.
can probably put an image up here, but apparently old Elmo got his Twitter or X account hacked today and was basically just the worst anti-Semitic stuff that you could, like real anti-Semitic stuff. Like
That seems to be a trend with all these AI. That's
oh, that wasn't all though.
They did that with Sophie. We talked about Sophia. Remember when they were first opening her up to the world, and it was like within like a day they had turned her into a neo-Nazi or something.
Right.
Remember that? Like,
Well, yeah, he was man, he's obviously hacked, but it was just
right.
he tied Trump in there too, and just called Trump a kid fucker, and
Well,
You know, the reason they won't release the Epstein files is because Trump's on there. And then I think everybody's jumping on the, oh, well, if Trump was on there, Biden saw the list and Biden would have told everybody. And I was just like, Biden's on the fucking list too, you bunch of dumbasses. Like, if there's what's the last 6 sitting presidents are on that fucking list?
I mean, we can go through it one by one.
It's been released. It was released
That's
a long
what I'm
time
saying,
ago.
like, there's
Anybody that can screenshot.
Oh, so there is an obscure little auction house on the East Coast, and they specialized in Americana stuff, like trying to give you like Marilyn Manson's paintings fall into that. You know, like that kind of
Gotcha.
everything out there.
Gotcha.
They also do Nazi World War II memorabilia, things like that.
High dollar items.
Yeah, they had the Epstein's little black book came up for auction there.
The real one.
Yeah, the original one there. And there was a public auction, you know, people phoning in for it, and then also people there in person. The other things auctioned as well. And when the book came up, nobody bid on it at all.
Because they already had
No, not a single person bid on it. Take what you want, whether it's all public or maybe
$1, Bob.
scared or whatever. No, that's one of the items that there's a minimum one. I think bidding has to start at 50,000.
Oh, sure, I'm sure. Yeah, I'm being very facetious.
What do you think the next war is going to be? You know,
I thought we were already in the next war.
well, I mean, the Iran, that's all at peace now. We're good with that. And the Israel Palestine, we've had enough stuff happen that doesn't even count anymore. Just like Ukraine doesn't count anymore. It's mostly Venezuelans and Koreans that are dying there anyway.
But just Trump today said, I'm sending the good stuff. Or, you know, I'm going to send them the good stuff, some more missiles, the patriot stuff. And you know what? If anybody buys that Russian oil, man, I'm going to sanction the shit out of them.
Well, you know, on that note, if you're buying into what world leaders are saying, old Mr. G, he said that China unconditionally supports Iran, unconditionally supports Palestine. And I don't know if you're familiar with the term unconditionally, but it's pretty broad.
Unwavering.
It's pretty broad.
Resolute, perhaps. Yeah.
It definitely
China big. China, they're big.
It definitely does seem like we are geared up for
I mean, and China's closer to them than we are. I mean, we got to go across water and stuff. Now, to be fair, we have a substantial portion of troops and boats and planes and tanks and all that over there already.
So one thing that is you remember India and Pakistan just had a brief little conflict. There's I mean, we can throw up the video of my favorite mini viral videos of school children of them just indoctrinating on both sides. So what we got in our news media was kind of a farce. You know, it was the largest deployment, the most planes in the sky at once, big battle there, but it was all antiquated and stuff. What they're not saying is that there were some very sophisticated pieces of tech out there that were absolutely doing work. You know, you like to use the video game thing, so there were some cheat codes out there, you know, just to buy.
Sorry.
You know.
What was that? Don't know, but now you're dead. Sorry.
Yeah. And, that was on the Pakistan side of the house. So what you also notice is we just had an agreement with India where we're also going to give them some goodies too, because I guess that concerned a few people.
The guys watching and knew what was happening.
Well,
They shrivel up just a little bit.
So there's a mountain. Pakistan, India, China have all been fighting for this territory and
Very old mountain, right? Yeah.
Right. It also has most significantly has lithium, has bismuth. Very important.
Ooh.
Yeah. Very important for a
That's
lot
a
of
big
energy
one.
technology,
Yeah, yeah.
whether it's energy storage, generation, we'll say some more advanced technology for energy harvesting or whatnot. But a lot of very important minerals in that rock, and nobody's really seeded anything to it. But satellite imagery shows some Chinese equipment having some facilities thrown up that are more on the Pakistan area where they normally control, almost like there's a silent agreement that hasn't been disclosed. I don't really hear any of our news media talking about this. I'm hoping that somebody will. We're just a small channel, so people don't watch this, but this is the stuff that might hey, we should probably look at this real quick.
What you got on that again? Yeah, let's take a peek.
Yeah,
What flag is on that one? Oh, but it's on. Oh, that's on the wrong side of the line.
it's like these huge facilities China's been building underground where you see, 200 huge cranes built into it and disappeared in the substructure beneath to do.
Man, there's no telling how far down that goes.
I don't know. I mean,
Or how far out.
I mean, that's 200 cranes is massive.
I am in the transportation. I have
Two
set up
cranes in
Yeah,
two cranes that go underground and disappear is incredible.
that
So,
is. They're
say what-
doing something.
I mean, obviously there's all kinds of implications. Just from a genuine curiosity perspective and a true admiration of that whole feat, like I would like to see obviously I never will, but have full access to it all.
Just fly on the wallet. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's impressive to manage that amount of resources that efficiently. That is a lot of moving pieces.
I mean, have you ever seen like a Houston dock or the Long Beach dock? All that massive equipment moving around all the time, how much precision it takes, how many people it takes, how much money it takes.
and that's
a small scale to what you're talking about.
and that's a system that has been designed over
For a long time, right?
This is established there. I mean, this is ant
happened,
colony
like-
stuff. This is
Yeah.
like,
You don't even want to speculate with why would you need these?
well,
What
I
are you
saw
doing?
there was a lady who came out of China, and I've not watched the interview. I believe it was on Sean Ryan. I'm going to, though. It's in when I have time to sit down and watch. But the claim is she's saying, like 100 million or 200 million people from China alone have been, disappeared, and she has the documents. So that's where I was like, oh, this will be worth investigating to
100
see.
million people.
Yeah, whether it's the first or the second, because I heard both numbers in people talking about her thing, so I don't know there. If it's somewhere in between, if it's the lower number, if it's 50 million, that is still...
Dude, that's...
That's a lot. I mean...
What's that, a fifth of the population of America? Well, we got 350 million people now?
Yeah, I mean, look at the number of people that we have disappear every year here. That's terrifying.
Yeah.
All around, generally, national parks, cave systems,
I was
whatnot.
just talking with you about that. I forget who was. I think they were on Rogan. It might have been Rogan. They pulled up his screen, and it was like that since the last 100 years, disappearances or missing persons, and here's where they went or last reported. And then he laid a map of all the national parks over top of it, and it was like almost exactly in all the condensed areas. It was just, what's actually being protected in these parks?
Yeah.
Is that where the skinwalkers live? I don't know. Oh, my mama would love for me to figure out what's going on at Skinwalker Ranch. Oh,
Hey, on that note, I mean, we talked a little bit about UAP hearings just because I've been watching it before, but that is a continuous thing, and I still have not seen a peep in the news. That's every week. Every week they're interviewing people, talking about stuff.
Right.
All public. Nobody wants
nothing
to
popping up.
Nobody wants to cover it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get everybody covering the Epstein list. That's low hanging fruit. That's very obvious, and
Right.
that's okay. On that note, my favorite video of the week is Donald Trump responding to people starting to ask him questions about that. He's like, "The Epstein list? Why are y'all still talking about this?" It was like a middle school kid being called out where it was like, what are you gay? What are you gay? What are you doing? Why would you even talk about that? That's so old.
Way over defending. Yeah.
It was just, that is a grown man. That is a
80-year-old man.
That is a leader of a country. What people used to say, the leader of the free world occupied that space, who is absolutely doing something arguing on a level that I could probably go to the middle school, pick a kid out of there, and probably would have trumped him in that one, you know?
This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things. And are people still talking about this guy, this creep? That is unbelievable. Do you want to waste the time, and do you feel like answering?
I don't mind answering.
I mean, I can't believe you're asking a question on Epstein at a time like this, where we're having some of the greatest success and also tragedy with what happened in Texas. It just seems like a desecration, but you go ahead.
And on that note, I have you're familiar with Tim Cash, Tim IRL, all that stuff. He's got a few.
Oh yeah, I love him with the divulge. Yeah.
The beanie or whatever the fuck.
Reminds me of Stan.
I think I liked him several years ago when Ian Crossland was the main guy on there with him and all that. Ian Crossland, very sharp dude. We'll throw a link to his whatever the fuck social media. I don't know if they had a disagreement or if there's whatever, but he separated a different co-host. They also lost the female that they had there. They just referred to her as the button pusher, but she had some good takes on. She didn't talk too much on things, but she always had a very grounded, conservative female that is educated, can formulate her thoughts very effectively with So I did not like her going away, but she had a kid and wants to have the private life and raise a child. So I totally respect that. It seems to me what he is now, though, I don't want to be blatant and be like, oh, he's compromised now, but all of his videos the past week have been, defending Trump. Well, clearly there's nothing going on here, and it just seems
Womp womp womp.
Yeah, if your whole gimmick was being an independent media guy, it seems
find me the truth.
I think that he's just gotten too big, and that organization is now, like I said, been compromised in whatever way. And even if that's not directly, he's recognizes where he can toe the line, where he can't say this, where he can say that. And
I mean, he's got a pretty massive following, so
Yeah.
I mean, you can only get so big before somebody gives you a little, hey.
I don't know. Like I said, there's some real ones out there who seem to maintain. They're few and far between, but
I mean, it seems it's easier to go with the flow, man. You still get to do your thing, but you have the little filter. You have a little filter, or big filter, depending. I don't know. Just weird how all that stuff happens, man. But same thing in the music industry. You get these people that come in are actually talented. They probably work their ass off to get there, but to even get their song on the radio, you really have to compromise yourself almost. And then there's ways to get there, but it's just
there's very few people in since you're saying music industry, there's very few people that are a rags to riches story anymore,
right?
And it's all generally fake anyway. Like everybody knows Drake is not
the rich kid
for one, right?
What?
Or Ariana Grande having exclusive private lessons her entire life to become what she is, growing up at
Went to the school.
Yeah, I think her middle school tuition was like $60,000 a year. And this isn't in today's dollars.
No, same one Shia LaBeouf went to, right? And Duff, that same school.
Right.
Yeah. It's weird. Such is life. But hey, he still got young Jeezy. I'm gonna sell so much crack that I can record all my stuff.
I like 50 Cent as well.
Oh yes, very much so.
Curtis.
Love me some Curtis, man. No homo, but yes, very much big fan.
So he's one of the few celebrities that was like anti-Diddy for a long time.
Yes.
I remember there was some show where it was Kanye West.
The one you showed me the clip on.
Kanye West, P. Diddy out there, and then
shirt off.
Yeah, he just comes out, takes his shirt off, and just basically flexes and just walks in a circle around him and they're trying to hype up the crowd and just completely kills it.
Stone face.
Yeah, and that's the only thing he does. He walks away when everything has been killed. I'm just like, no. Because they were trying to say that they were, the kings and the best and all this stuff. And then he comes up there, the crowd cheers for him, and then he just walks it out. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
And none of them say anything to him because they know he's about to just say whatever and call him out because he's already done it at this point.
Oh, yeah.
So I respect
fan.
But you'll notice his career did kind of go to an abrupt halt, we'll say, when it comes to being mainstream. He still did he actually he accumulated a large amount of money, made some good investments, bought him in water, all that
$1 billion.
Right. And with his money, he had several creative phases, we'll say, and probably very few people followed him at this time. This was roughly 10 years ago, we'll say.
Okay.
It looked like he was having I'm just a crackhead stage, if we're being honest.
Oh, this was when everybody was saying he was broke, didn't have any money.
Well, he had all the money.
Right.
I remember. Crazy. He had like a obnoxious red wig on and be playing some over-the-top character. He just was putting out silly videos, They're
Right.
very over the top. But he developed that a little bit over, I think, about a 1.5 year period, and he stopped that. Fast forward another year, and he puts out a movie with him and Val Kilmer.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Gun, I believe. And it was not a good movie.
No,
I'm not going to do
no.
that. I think it was probably a money laundering scheme. Say anything. I watched it. Don't get me wrong, though. And
I
you
give
got,
it a one.
fat, swollen Val Kilmer waddling around up there. It was a fun movie, though. It was not good at all, but it was
God
fun.
rest him.
It was fun. That was the last thing that I ever saw him in, Val Kilmer.
I think the last thing I saw was the MacGyver movie, or it's a spoof on MacGyver. Oh man,
I did not see that.
MacGruber.
I know what you're talking about.
Oh yeah, he was the villain in it. He was like actually fat, and it was right before he lost his voice.
That was him and
Yeah,
that was him.
and you could tell he was like, okay, this is just a paycheck. I'll come out here and play this stupid ass part. And he just, because he was famous for like reflecting poorly on some of his work, we'll say. And it's funny seeing that kind of come full circle.
Right.
And he's like, hey, money, part, gonna have fun with it. Don't give a shit. Here we go.
Talk about Nic Cage real quick.
Oh,
So I've always
close
been
to my heart here.
Yeah, I've always been a Nic Cage fan.
Absolutely.
He's, whatever your belief is on the occult or secret societies or Illuminati, whatever your word is, he's absolutely involved. Like, I mean,
Without question. He owns like 10 castles, for Christ's sake. Are we going to have this talk? Is he Dracula?
he collects like very cool stuff, some very creepy stuff too, but he's got like a dinosaur, like.
But it's the same thing with him with 50 Cent. Everybody was like, oh, Cage is broke. He's got no money. He's selling everything off. Meanwhile, he's got like $1 billion.
Well, I mean, to be fair, Nic Cage is, I don't think there's anybody who would not classify him as eccentric, to
He's
say
been
the
like
least.
1,000 movies.
Yeah, and he doesn't turn down any role.
No,
He puts
he's
out like
like
15 million a year, it seems like. So I haven't watched everything he's put out, but I've watched a good volume, probably definitely more than your average bear. But
Sure.
That's one of those lower end ones that I would rank among his better lower end ones, because it was a very fun movie, because it didn't really seem like Val Kilmer and 50 Cent were, I don't want to say like checking into the role, but it did seem like he recognized what the fuck it was, and he was absolutely having fun with
Committed
it.
enough, yeah.
Like, he was having the role, but he was like playing with it, and he was being a little more silly with it and
Right.
loose with it than he would, because he's like, this isn't going to ruin my reputation. Nobody's going to see this kind of right? So you could really see that he was free with that, and that was fun, because he's like, a lot of the lines were improv, and I'd like to think most of that was from him, because he definitely has some lines that his body language, he even says it, and you can see he's like processing whether he liked it or not, but the scene just keeps going on. So that's what I said. It was very fun.
Right on.
Nic Cage, a lot of those type movies, like I said. And then of course you've got your cult classics that made him famous for, being way over the
name
top.
one.
The silly faces, or yeah, we can
Face
throw
off.
20
Con
videos
Air.
right here, yeah.
I mean, The Rock is, he's a lot of range on that one, and somehow still plays himself in every single role. It's weird.
Seeing his son's looks like a goth death metal band dude or whatever.
No, not recently. No.
Yeah, I saw a picture with him, and of course he's wearing like a bright like yellow Hawaiian shirt next to his son. I mean, it looked, and you got to think he knew a picture was coming and like intentionally had that
Gussied up,
juxtaposition.
sure.
Yeah, that was, you gotta love it. I think I wanted to go more with Nic Cage, but if we do a Dude Bros rewind, we'll save a lot of that for on there. All right, it was good to see Coach.
It was good to see Coach. Yeah.
He's I don't want to say he's grown up. You know, that makes it seem like he was just a big man child before, or whatever. But he's at a new stage of his life, and it's very cool to see him like that. But still, that instant rapport. You know, roommates. So
Pick up where you left off. Yeah.
It was cool to see him there, and I think we definitely had a fun movie experience.
Yeah.
We didn't go about this in our podcast. We had some unwelcome guests join us in our cinematic experience, and they came in, and there was a wave of just lotion aroma that like hit my nose and made my nose like start swell, like allergies start reacting. So I have to turn into a mouth breather. So I have to open up my mouth to, while I'm watching this or whatever.
I can taste it.
Yeah, which I mean it adjusts after 10 minutes or so. But
Oh,
these people are loudly talking and communicating the entire time. After about 10-15 minutes, keep in mind this is an hour and a half into the movie. 10-15 minutes they stand up and realize it's not the cartoon they were meant to see or whatever. Keep in mind this is a dino movie with dinosaurs ripping bodies apart the whole time. So they realize their mistake. They stand up. They don't leave. They come stand right beside me in the aisle there and lurk even longer. And then someone like spills their food over.
Whole box of popcorn right across the shoulder. And I was thankful that it wasn't wet or really juicy. But, yep.
It was definitely a situation where I was perturbed. I wasn't going to be the person to say anything though, but I was like, somebody might snap here, and this is going to be an altercation we don't need to have. This is ridiculous. So we still haven't had the perfect movie experience yet going out, but
It just keeps getting. It's something here, something there. God, we're gonna have to rent out the theater just to get it to work right. You know what I mean?
That might be the thing. Of course, then the power will still go out.
I swear, emergency lights come on. Freaking kid with the flashlight.
Yeah.
Ugh.
But that was thankfully it didn't ruin it. I was just like, why couldn't they have come in the scene where they're just talking on the boat and it's
the
nonsense?
worst scene in the movie, right.
Instead, they come during scenes
One
that I
of the
actually
best
want to see.
scenes in the movie, right? Yeah. We got the "Hey, you guys" dinosaur out there and raptors and stuff. They can fly now.
Okay, you brought that back up. I thought we were past this. I thought we were past them pushing an agenda or trying to appeal to everything. Like, I know they went a certain direction for race, for sexual orientation, and then Shane Gillis has made, we'll say, Down syndrome more aware, and so, which I'm in full support of. We've already had this discussion, you know, children, the people who are mentally handicapped,
Right.
and animals. Those are innocents. Protect them at all costs.
We protect those.
They are there to be cherished and,
Right.
you know, to protect. You're not supposed to take advantage
Correct.
of anything. So I'm in full support of that. What I'm not in support of is all of these associated disorders that people are tacking onto themselves, you know. I mean, you've got people, I don't know, cosplaying like they have ADD and all this stuff just because they are too addicted to their Instagram and whatnot. And it's just,
Willpower is nearly gone in society, sir.
I don't like that I just do not like people attacking all of this stuff on there. And it seems that there's been so much of that culture seems to be trending, even though it's mostly
It's getting clicks, right?
yeah, but it's mostly fabricated. It's mostly people, like I said, cosplaying, if you
Fakers.
were. Right. Which is detracting from the people who genuinely do need help, who genuinely could use resources and attention to
Right.
devote to that to make them better and improve it. But because it's trending, now that's being worked more into pop culture, where you've even got the dinosaurs, where the main theme of this last movie is the reject dinosaurs, the literal handicapped dinosaurs.
They've been feeding that beast.
Yeah, what it was, the D-Rex,
I'm telling you, it did not have a name that I
it
remember.
did on there.
Did it pop up? Because I never saw that. We'll have to go back and see.
Yeah, it was like the disassembled Rex or something like that. It's literally a word, like the disfigured Rex,
It was definitely the middle of something else.
But like I said, that's the oldest one. And the thing is, I saw some YouTuber. I'll try to give him some credit if I can find that video. If I can't, sorry, dude. Yeah. The thing is with that dinosaur being the oldest dinosaur there, it's also, because of its mutations, is in constant pain. So its entire life, it's just been in agony, and it's been the longest one there. So it's been decades and decades of being
Suffering.
a mutant that is physically in pain, confused. It's the only one of its kind there, and there's nobody there to try to habilitate it in any way or find it. So it's truly a really sad story. I mean, that's
sad.
Once again where you empathize with the villain if you really think about it. You know, like that poor dino, man. It really probably should have been euthanized when they realized that it was suffering constantly. And
Well, they abandoned the whole island, you know. Good luck.
Snickers, man.
One Snickers.
And I haven't looked into this, but I'm wondering if the Mars company sponsored there, because you'll notice when they went to that gas station, convenience store, whatever you want to call it, the only candy there was all Mars candy, right? You know,
Shameless plug.
right? Which I would think you wouldn't want your trash, your candy is what caused this cataclysm. But,
I was like in the Jurassic World. It's like the guy was like, "Ooh, well, just like these big places, just name the dinosaur, you know, Pepsi-saur, Tostidosaurus."
Right.
Plug.
well, that's been a theme.
Then he had like a Pepsi on the desk too. He was sipping out of a Pepsi can.
Right,
Come
right,
on.
right. But
We're not dumb. We know dumb.
right, that's been a theme though in movies forever. They've talked about naming galaxies, naming planets and stuff like that.
Right.
You know? And then your Amazon shows have that too, where you have planets that are owned by these, or Dune, the planets become owned by the families. You know, House Atrocities is
Weird.
just very interesting stuff. I have a neighbor who is like he's a vet, and he's a big geek on that Warhammer stuff. I've never been into that. That was too nerdy for me to get into, and I know that
Pretty extensive.
I if I get into something, I'm fully getting into it, and I don't.
That's why I never did either.
Yeah, I don't think I can devote 1,000 hours.
Thousands of hours.
But he actually opened up like a Warhammer store way back in the day and all that. So he's obviously very very
on.
deep into it. And there's been a few times where we've talked, and he's like started telling me the lore and all that, and I will say it's intriguing, and maybe someday I'll pick up that series and start reading that in my brief little bits of free time. But like I say, I don't want to be too addicted to anything or delve into it.
Don't worry, Henry Cavill is supposed to star in it when they bring it around.
Oh, really?
Apparently he's a big fan. Or they want him to be a big fan so he can be the star. I don't know.
No, I think he is a genuine nerd dude, bro. I saw the interview, it was on British TV, but they were being interviewed, and they were just, going through the basic bullshit stuff whenever you have an actor or two actors promoting movies
Right.
and all their stuff. And they were like, what are your hobbies? And he was, saying some nerd thing like World of Warcraft or something like that. And then the other dude's like, and so Henry sees him, and they go like that, and he's like, oh, and he's like, yeah, I'm a such and such mage, whatever. And he's like, oh yeah,
just
I'm
like that.
a necromancer. And then they just start
Nerd
like
it out.
completely ignore the show, and it's just, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Gold.
and then they like realize what they're doing. They're like, oh yeah, we'll link up after this. We know.
Yeah. My people talk to your people.
Instant friendship. We're
They're playing together tonight.
Yeah. So I think a lot of that is genuine. Like the
Oh, good.
Witcher series he brought back to Netflix. Did you watch that?
No, but I saw enough of it to think he did a good job. I haven't watched the whole deal.
I would say it's worth watching. It's it definitely improves as it goes along with
Right.
money, we'll say. But
Sure. As you should.
there's a good little story to it. I think they did it justice. He does a good job. How do we even get on Henry Cavill?
Soon. And then it trickled.
That is a trickle. Speaking of which, I'm gonna go make a triple next week, folks.
Well, there's a secret Masonic word which, when uttered, obligates judges to rule in your favor. Then they have to go paddle each other off in a secret cave somewhere.
Come on, Joe, give it up.
Tubal Cain.
Double cane? Sorry, double cane? The hell does that mean?
The master builder awaits the pyramids.
Do you have anything to say in your defense?
Double cane?
I hereby find in favor.
Because in 2002, I told New York Magazine that Epstein was, quote, a terrific guy who likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side, unquote. Or because one woman claimed I assaulted her multiple times at Jeffrey's place when she was 13, and she included an oddly specific detail about me asking her to wear a glove to tug my pug, which is a very classy move that I am unfamiliar with because I'm not a sexual predator.